Hi guys, today we are going to see how to stop whatever the application you want to stop using Python. So let me open the VS Code here and then let's start writing the code. Import C types. So this is the major module we need to import and then import time. So these two modules are enough to stop any application from running in the Windows. So let me create a variable called application name. In this variable I am going to give a name of the application that I want to stop that from running. So for example I am going to take the Microsoft Edge name. And then let's start writing the while loop. So the reason I am writing the while loop here is because it needs to check constantly whether the mentioned application is running or not, so that we can find whether it's running or not and close it from running. And in here I'm going to create a variable called buffer, or else I'm going to create a buffer window. And here you need to type the C types dot C. So this means nothing but character pointer, and in here I am going to create a bytes. I will explain it in the few minutes after writing few codes, so that you will understand it why I am writing the char pointer here and the bytes here. Okay, next I am going to create a variable called active window. Here we are going to type C types dot windll dot user32 dot get foreground window. So what this going to do is it's going to call the foreground window, which means it's going to call a function. It's going to call a DLL function. Here is the definition of that function. What this going to do is it's going to return a handle of current window. For example, it's going to, now we are using VS Code, so what this going to do is it's going to return a VS Code handle. So what does handle means? So you may get doubt, what is a handle in the first place? This type itself, if you expand it, it means handle to a window. So what is that? It is nothing but a pointer to the current active window. So you don't need to know about that deeply, just assume that it's just a pointer to the current active window. For example, now if you run the code, we will get the VS Code, this VS Code handle. Every window in the Windows assigned a handle. So what the handle means is it's like a pointer to our window. For example, if we run the code, I'm going to print active window. So let's just time it sleep. I'm going to 1 second. I'm going to sleep the code for 1 second. If we run the code now, it will return the handle for our current window. So this is the handle for our VS Code. So this is the handle for our VS Code. If I try to open different I'm going opening this Google Chrome. Now the handle should be different. If you go to that, see, the handle is different. So for every window, our Windows operating system assigns a handle. I hope do I hope you understood well. So you don't need to know about that deeply. So just assume that it points to the window that is opened in the our Windows operating system. So it is assigned by our operating system to every window that is opened. So what we are doing here is we are getting the current opened handle here. So this will return the handle of our current window. So this is the current window. This VS Code is our current window. So it will return the handle to our VS Code. And then I'm going to write C types dot windll dot user32 dot get window text a, and then here we are going to give the active window handle. Here we need to pass the window handle and then the buffer window and then the character. I'm going to give 250 here. Let me explain this. So if you open up the information of the DLL function, it says copies the text of the specific window title bar into a buffer. If a specified window is a control, the text of the control is copied. However, Windows cannot retrieve the text of the control in another application. Let me explain. So here we need to pass the handle of the window so that it will return the name of that window. For example, when we ran the code before, it returns numbers. For example, you can see it didn't return the name of the window. For example, our current window name is testing.py-VS Code, but it didn't return that because we are getting the handle to the current window. We need to get the name of the window so that we can check whether the mentioned application is currently opened or not. So here we need to get here we are getting the text of the current window opened in the buffer window here. If you open the Windows DLL function explanation, here in this type, the buffer will receive the text. So what this means is it's going to return the name of the title of the current window to a buffer. So that's why we are creating here the character pointer. So what this is going to do is it's like a temporary memory we are creating so that we can get the output of this text into this here. So this will what this will do is this is going to get the title of the current window and save it in this variable. This is the buffer window we are creating like a temporary memory so that this will save the name of the current window title bar in this variable. The reason I am using here bytes is because we are dealing with the C types, which means we are dealing with the C language. So we need to use whatever the type it accepts. We cannot use our Python string such as like this in here because it will return an error. It doesn't accept. We need to pass something that gets accepted in the C types. So it supports either bytes or the binary. So I am passing the bytes here. So what this is doing here is we are passing the current window handle in here and then getting the name of that handle here so that it will save the text of the current window title bar in this variable, and then we are passing 250 characters. What do you mean? What I mean by 250 means, let's run this code so that you can understand. Let me run this code and show you some example. Buffer window dot value, and then write time dot sleep, and then I'm giving 1 second. So let me run this code. So here you can see it returns testing.py / Visual Studio Code. This is the current window, and we are getting the current window title bar. If I close this and open this, this is going to, here you can see window text a function, and then the application, and then the website opened in here. So you can see we got the current title window name here. So that's what we are doing here. This will assign the, this will get the current window handle, and then get the and then give the name of the current window title bar in here, and then we are giving 250 characters. If we reduce this to 10 character, we will get only 10 characters. We will not get anything more than that. If I run the code, you can see we are getting only testing.p. So you can give whatever the amount of characters you want. So I am giving here 250, and then what we need to do is we need to convert the returned window name into a normal string. I am going to write string and buffer window dot value, comma, here we need to mention the encoding type. Why I am writing this here is because the text we have returned is in the format of Windows encoding, Windows character encoding. So if you search so here is the Windows format for encoding character. So we are going to use this to, so we are going to turn this text we have received here into a normal string. So we need to mention here the encoding. So cp and then if you print it, you can see it's a normal string. We have converted the Windows encoded text into a normal string here. So now we are going to check whether our mentioned application is in the current window or not. So I am going to write if application name is in the current window. So we are writing Microsoft Edge. So when the current window is Microsoft Edge, it will close it. Here we need to write C types dot windll dot user32 dot post message A. So here we need to pass the active window handle, and then 16, 0, 0. So what we are doing here is, if you open up that post message A function, you see it places a message in the message queue associated with the thread that created the specified window, and returns without waiting for the thread to process the message. So in short, what does this do is it going to post a message in the message queue whatever we have passed in that parameter to do to that window. For example, what we are passing here is we are telling that window to close it. Just assume that it is saying, hey operating system, just close this window. You can check all the types and there you can see all the types and their explanations here. So what we are doing here is just telling our operating system to close the active window. It's like saying, hey operating system, please close this window please, and then like we are posting a message to close that window in the message queue. And then I'm going to write message application closed, and then I'm going to add another code here so that we get for our understanding that whether the application is present or not. For example, if our mentioned application is present in the current window, then we are processing here like a application detected, like this here. So I'm writing this here for our understanding, and also print the name of the application opened. And then you need to give the time here, time.sleep. I'm giving 0.1. So let's run the code. It should close the Microsoft Edge from running. So let's test it. I'm running the code now, and I am going to open up the Microsoft Edge, and it didn't close. So let's see what was the problem. So I'm going to stop the code. So I stopped the loop here, and then we need to check the application name before the same conditions so that we can find what was the name of the Microsoft Edge window. I'm running this now. I'm going to add a time here so that it won't go fast. I'm giving here 5 seconds so that we can see. I'm running this now and then closing it and opening the Microsoft Edge now. Let's close it and see the name. So I'm stopping the code. As you can see, it has a question mark in the name. That's why it did not go after this if condition. So the if condition was not satisfied here. That's why it wasn't closed. So because of this question mark in the name. So let's delete this and then add just Edge, and let's see whether the code is running or not perfectly. Now I run the code. So I'm going to make some changes before. I'm going to delete this, and then let's run the code and see whether it's closing the edge or not. See, it's not opening now. So how many times I've opened, it is closed. So let's stop this, and then I'm going to give Google Chrome. So let's run the code. Now if I click this here, it will be closed instantly. See, did you see that? It closed instantly because it's going to get the current window and then going to get the name, and then it's posting a message to close the window, and here we are, it is closed. So not just that, you can use whatever the application name you want. For example, I'm going to what are the application I have, so I'm going to give this notepad plus plus name here to close it. So now I gave it here and I running the code here. If I open up the notepad, it should close. So you can see it never opened, it is getting closed. Also, you don't have to give just one application name, you can give many other name like in the list. And then I'm giving here Google Chrome, and then I'm giving here Edge. Now instead of this, I'm going to give the I here. So it's going to check whether any of the mentioned application is present in the current window handle, and it's going to close. So I'm going to run the code. Now if I open up any of the application mentioned, any three of application mentioned here should close now. I'm going to open up, it is closed. I'm going to open up Notepad, it is closed. I'm going to Microsoft Edge, it is closed. So as you can see, you can not just mention one application name, you can mention as many as application you want here and close all the application from running. So that's it guys, that's what I want to say. Thank you for watching my video.